So a few days ago, I did a video talking about who else, the other titles you could see Godzilla could cross over with now that the floodgates are open with the Godzilla versus Power Rangers crossover. So today we're going to be talking about the other end of that spectrum with who else the Power Rangers could cross over with in comics. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to be realistic about this and you may be thinking, oh, Power Rangers and Avengers or Power Rangers and whatever. I'm actually going to be more realistic with this in the grounds of I kind of know, it's kind of hard enough to get intercompany crossovers done, and Power Rangers has had several. I mean, well, several in the sense that it's only been two so far. Yeah, two, not four. Two, and both were one didn't make sense, but it was one that was really cool to happen, even though the execution was not great, and another that was fantastic, and I'm eagerly awaiting a sequel to that one. That being the mediocre Justice League Power Rangers crossover, and the excellent TMNT Power Rangers crossover. I'm eagerly awaiting a sequel to the TMNT one. Anywho, so with Godzilla being crossed over with Power Rangers, it's now makes me wonder of who else we could see crossover with the Power Rangers in comic form. As always, I'm going to be, like I said a little earlier, I'm going to be very realistic about this no Marvel. We're not going to have any of the Marvel titles. Simply the grounds of Disney, the mouse is not going to be... The mouse is not going to allow anyone to cross over with Marvel unless it's really in their favor, and they're not going to let that happen. So we're not going to have Power Rangers Avengers here. We're not going to have any of that, but DC is still open, and the other companies are still open. It all depends on what companies can do what. Because remember, it's not just the licensing. You have to understand that there is more than just comic companies coming together. It's different companies. Like I said before, one of the reasons why we got a Doctor Who Star Trek crossover after so many years under IDW was because there was so much negotiation between Paramount and BBC to let that happen. It took years and years that's something IDW wanted to do from the get-go, but BBC and Paramount were not cool with it. So I can only imagine how much finagling IDW and Boom Studios had to do with not just each other, but also with Toho and Hasbro. And by some extent, I imagine Super Sentai. I forget who owns the Sentai ones. I think it's Toei. Yeah, Toei. So you can imagine that this was probably a headache for everyone around. But I imagine the next few I'm going to talk about are probably going to be easier to really pitch. So let's get started with this. So starting off, right out the bat, I think this is one I think we've all been waiting for, is Power Rangers and Transformers. Yeah. Now, again, I haven't talked about the stuff going on with IDW and Hasbro because it's all hearsay and rumor, but the more you hear about with John Barber stepping down, it does make me worried. But for right now, I'm not going to talk about it. For the time being, I'm not going to talk about it until anything's official. John Barber stepping down and leaving IDW is worrisome, but at the same time, it doesn't really prove anything either. So I'm not really going to say anything yet. I'm not going to say anything of note yet. So until we get an announcement from Hasbro or IDW or some other official source, I'm not going to talk about the possibility, because it's still a rumor. It's still rumor and hearsay. So I'm not going to say anything on that. I might do a video if something happens, but yeah, that's all I'm going to say. But for right now, Power Rangers and Transformers was one I think a lot of people were waiting for outside of the TMNT Power Rangers one, because that one was the TMNT Power Rangers one I knew was going to happen between Boom and IDW, because we really needed a cool comic to really also be an apology for that god-awful Next Mutation and In Space crossover we had in live action. So it was really cool to see the original OG team meet a version of the IDW Turtles. That was really cool, and it was really well done. Now it's for the next logical step of having Transformers meet the Power Rangers. I mean, having the Dragon Zord fight Trypticon. Tell me you would not love to see that seeing Trypticon versus the Dragon Zord. And also seeing Megatron with Rita and or Zed. Yeah, it's perfect. I do think this is also a strong possibility because Hasbro is under... I mean, Power Rangers is under now Hasbro, and it also owns Transformers. So, it's no doubt in my mind that there will be, at some point, but it depends if it's under IDW or another company. So, we'll have to wait and see. Anywho, so there you go. Like, Power Rangers and Transformers, like, that's been the obvious one. I think that's the one that's been, like, the one everyone's been waiting for to get, like, waiting to see done. I know I have. So, this has been a... that's one I think everyone wants. The other one is another Hasbro one, G.I. Joe. I personally would love to see more G.I. Joe crossovers, and seeing Power Rangers with the Joes would be awesome. Like, Yo-Yo Mighty Joes, or some tagline, or Yo Joe, it's Morphin' Time. There you go. There's your tagline for your G.I. Joe G.I. Joe Power Rangers crossover. Yo Joe, it's Morphin' Time! That's perfect. Have, like, even some of the Joes get the Power Ranger coins, or like maybe they build like new vehicles that are based off of the Zords or something. You could have... Could you imagine the toys, by the way? Just the toy... This thing, like, with, like, the toy sales alone would be enough for it. Like, Snake Eyes as, like, Green Ranger Snake Eyes. Tell me that wouldn't sell off the shelves. I mean, look at Green Ranger Shredder and how well that took off, and the marketing deals they've had with with the Turtles and the Power Ranger figures from that crossover. So don't tell me that it would not be marketable in a toy sense to have, like, Green Ranger Snake Eyes or Green Ranger Cobra Commander. Which, actually, I'd really like to see a Green Ranger Cobra Commander. That'd be kind of cool, but it'd probably be Green Ranger Snake Eyes. I would love to see... And again, Rita hanging out with Cobra Commander. That'd be perfect. Them screaming at one another. Oh, that'd be great. Have the villains hang out, like Dr. Mindbender making monsters with Finster, or Goldar and Scorpina and Baroness teaming up, or Destro and Goldar. Actually, that's perfect. Like, have Destro and Baroness hanging out with Goldar and Scorpina. Like, that's perfect. And just kind of talk about, like, the people they serve, because, like, Scorpina and Goldar serve Rita fanatically, but on the other end of the spectrum, you got Destro and Baroness who are like, oh, fuck me. So I think that'd be a neat contrast of having those guys. So yeah, Power Rangers and G.I. Joe, I think it would just be perfect. Like, in a fun sense of having the Rangers hang out with the Joes, and I kind of want more Joe crossovers. But again, that depends on what's going on with IDW. Next up, we have, I would like to see them team up with DC again, but not on a Justice League crossover. I would like to see them do a Power Rangers Green Lantern crossover. I think that would be a lot of fun, of, like, dealing with the morphing grid and the rings. I think that'd be really cool. Like, get Lantern Rangers. It'd be kind of awesome. I mean, that's kind of predictable, but, like, again, toy sales would be through the roof for, like, the Lantern Rangers, or something of that nature. Oh god, perfect toy pitch right here. Parallax possessing Tommy and getting, like, a Parallax Green Ranger. Dude, you get a toy figure of that, that's gonna go right off the shelves. The Parallax Ranger. So, yeah, I'd like to see them cross over to DC again, maybe do a Green Lantern crossover, have the multiple Lantern Corps team, like the Lantern Spectrums, team up with the Rangers. That'd be a lot of fun. Maybe, like, have one of the Lanterns create their own Zord, like the Lantern Zord. You know Kyle Rayner would do that, too. Like, if any Lantern was gonna make, like, their own, like, construct of a Zord, it'd be Kyle. Anyway, so Green Lantern I think would be a really fun one, be another cool one. I would like to see, just for how much fun and such of an odd contrast it would be, I would love to see Power Rangers and Star Trek. I would really love to see Power Rangers and Star Trek team up. Just the idea of, especially like if it's TOS Star Trek, that'd be a lot of fun, of just seeing the contrast of like, because again, if you had the X-Men there, I mean, it's not too far-fetched, right? You had the X-Men there with Star Trek characters and TOS, it'd be like, all right, I guess Power Rangers can come in. Anyway, and they would make they would make the Enterprise Zord, the Enterprise Megazord. That would happen. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Yeah. So the next one I got in mind is another fun one, and this one is keyword fun. Like, this would be like just bonkers and just like, well, two. Why do I keep doing two? What the fuck am I doing? Two more. One's DC and another one. I'm going to talk about this one right now. I would love to see Power Rangers and Archie. Archie meets the Power Rangers. I've wanted that for a while, because even though I'm not the biggest Archie guy, like seeing these Archie crossovers are usually a lot of fun because they're so whack job out of place. And like Archie versus Predator, and Batman 66 meets Archie, or they had Sharknado. I'm still waiting on like Archie versus Army of Darkness. Like, I'm still waiting for them to team up with Dynamite to do that. I mean, they're already working with Dynamite on the Vampirella crossover, the Vampirella and Red Sonja crossover with Betty and Veronica. And there was also that really cool Harley and Ivy meet Betty and Veronica one too. So I think it'd be a lot of fun. And Archie, Red Ranger Archie, like have the Rangers lose their power coins, and Archie, Betty, Veronica, Jughead, and maybe Reggie or Moose get the power coins. Yeah. That's perfect. Actually, no, the Blue Ranger would probably be Dilton. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Just have them be the power, like they lose their power coins in Riverdale in a monster fight in Riverdale, and Archie becomes the Power Rangers, or the Power Rangers get captured, the power coins go away, Zordon gives them to another group of teenagers with attitude, and it's the kids from Riverdale. Gee, I will write this story, I will write this comic, Archie Comics and Boom Studios. Give me a pad and pen, give me an artist, I will write this comic for you for free. I swear I will write Archie Meets the Power Rangers for free for all of you. Just have Betty and Veronica as the pink and yellow Rangers. Perfect. Red Ranger Archie. Like, could you imagine Archie trying to fucking drive the T-Rex Zord? It's so stupid, but it works. Anyway. So, what else was there? The other one is another fun one, is Batman 66 meets the Power Rangers. I think, like, having the Adam West Batman would be a lot of fun. Like I talked about in the Godzilla meets Batman 66 one, that one would be more, like, tongue-in-cheek, and this one would be too, because you know Adam West Batman would make a Bat-Zord. You damn well know he would make, like, a Bat-Zord or a giant bat robot to fight monsters. And also I would love to see, like, the reactions from the Batman 66 era villains, like Joker, Penguin, and all of them, and with Rita and all of them, and be like, what the hell's wrong with you? Anyway. So, yeah. There you go. Those are pretty much, my Power Ranger crossover ideas. So, for comics. Hopefully we can get that. That's my little wish list. But you guys tell me in the comments below, what characters would you love to see crossover with in comic form with the Power Rangers? And let's be a little realistic about this. So yeah. Anyway, so hope you all enjoyed this. If you haven't already, hit the link below to my Patreon and join the 4th tier and get a request for all of you for me to put out there here on YouTube. Other than that, I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.